Good morning, people. Good morning. Good morning. It is Friday, January 30th, 2026, and it's just after 3 p.m. Wow. Well, I haven't done a live in a couple of days, it seems. Looking out my window. What a wow, I'm just a little dumbfounded by I'm waking up again. Just waking up again. Last time I looked on my watch, when I had to wake up from sleep, it was like 11 something. It's approaching midnight. Just waking up again. Woke up with a very dry mouth. But I wouldn't like open up my eyes. And I said, open up your eyes and not, just trying to get awake. And then I remembered that I was dreaming. And that's what I want to talk about. Wow, yeah, I'm just getting up. I had to go to the bathroom. I said, I better share this dream. I never had a dream like this. It was so detailed. I mean, I hope I can remember most of it. Oh, it seemed real. I was dreaming, very detailed, that I had arrived what looked like Asia, East Asia, at least the type of people there. I mean, bits and pieces. It was so detailed. It was so busy. Oh, I think the first part of the dream, I mean, I don't know what it means. I met a lot of people, situations, and a lot of faces seemed similar, actually. It looked like East Asia. I've never been to Asia, East Asia. Ah, I was, ah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to awaken. Um, I had so many people around me, so many people I was interacting with. And some of the people I felt I knew, I've seen before. I've never been to Asia, and I don't know what sparked the dream, but I felt so engrossed in it. More such detail. Oh, I'll try to recall it. Okay, I remember the first part I was seeing. Uh, I'm outdoors, and something about a pool. And then for whatever reason, we had something happen. And I remember we had to navigate through this pool, and I might have been with three other female. And I think one of them, something about Oprah. Um, I think she was in it too, but she was shorter, I think, and she was chubby, but she was short. In my understanding, I've never met anyone, met Oprah or anything like that. But something about Oprah, or like that she reminded me of Oprah. Um, she looked like um, maybe a slightly younger than she is now. Yeah, she looked healthy and everything, agile. And I remember at one point, something with the water. First, we had to go widthwise, I think. And I think it was the water was high. I don't know why we had to go in the water. We had our clothes on, and then we had to go to the edge of the pool. And I remember I had to follow one of the young ladies that was in front of me, how she navigated. I remember there were thick beams, wooden beams, and we were now along the side of the pool, on the left side of the pool, and now we're going uh, lengthwise on the edge. And I remember the thick wooden beams, and we had to navigate to crawl around it. Um, we were like sliding across, so it's like I'm straddled and trying to navigate the beams of the wood. And this is all an outdoor pool or something. And I think we were conversing. I don't know what about. It was just very detailed. We had to get through and navigate and scoot across. And, you know, I don't remember the details. Next thing I remember, I'm in a room. I'm in a bedroom. I think it was just a one large room. And I remember at one point there was an Asian girl. She's young. She looked young. She looked like, excuse me, I'm sorry. She was an East Asian looking female, very young. She was an adult, but she looked very young. So she could have been like in the 20s, but she kind of looked familiar too. She looked familiar. Yeah, a lot of people, they just look familiar. Hints of people that I've met in life. She could have been in her 20s, but an adult. I think we shared a room. It was a cozy room, a girly room. I don't remember the details, but I think I was sitting on the bed. And I think at one point she left. We were conversing. I don't remember what about. But I think she had to leave the room. And then some minutes later, someone entered the room, but they didn't knock, I think. It was a man. And I was topless. I thought, oh, shoot, this man has walked in our room. And I think I tried to cover up. And he doesn't interact with me, the man. So he could have been I forget what he was. Whether he was an Asian guy, East Asian type of guy, or Westerner. I know that's a big difference. But he was pale and slim, never communicated. That's all I really remember, that he was a pale-skinned guy, businessman type. It doesn't say anything. And I thought it was, I didn't know it was going to be him. And then the lady the young woman, Asian woman, entered in. I think she had just come out the shower and she had a towel, something, and she was like upset, like, what are you doing in here? You had that type of look. And I know that we communicated. I said, I didn't know it was him. He didn't. I just thought it was going to be you when you entered the room. When the person was in the room, I was shocked. That's what I remember about that scene. But I remember her face, her expression was like, what are you doing here? And I'm thinking back now. In my college days, something like that happened to me. I went down the hall to take a shower, just had a towel around my waist. And my roommate, I had a black roommate, black American roommate. And I think she saw I left the room to take a shower, and then I come back and this dude is in the room. I like, what? Why would you do that? Yeah, there was a lot of, I remember my college days, I had an opportunity to go away for school for one semester only. That's all I was able to afford. And I said, I'm going to just come back home. The money wasn't really enough money, and I had enough of the drama. But yeah, that type of violation of your space, I would say that was the key thing. Your violation of your space. And you go to your room to retreat, to relax, to sleep, to change, and someone just walks in your room. Forget what he was doing, but I think he just he doesn't engage with me or anybody, and then he just leaves. Nothing else came out of it. I remember another part. We're in a, let's see. I remember being on the train. It had a lot of people. I remember I had a little bag, like a cloth tote bag type of thing. And I remember that someone had to climb over, like it was on the floor, and it almost got tangled in someone's feet. So I had to remove it, make sure no one falls. There were people sitting, some standing, and I was there. It just seemed very, very detailed, just very alive, busy. And I think the Asian girl was with me. I was pretty much following her, I think. I don't remember any real dialogue, but it was just, my mind was busy and just looking and observing. I think we get out and we're in like a shopping center. It felt like a mall. It wasn't, it was, oh, I can't remember the details, but it's some type of shopping center. Had a lot of little booths, like what do you call it, little private businesses, a lot of little mini, like I think a kiosk, different things like that, but very busy, packed. And I remember, just so many people, but it was peaceful. It had a market feel, but indoors, a lot of little shops. I remember one shop. It was in the center of the mall, the center of the pathway, and it was like, yeah, right in the middle. Uh, what? Let's see. Maybe it's like just a little sectioned off, but in the center of the path. And it had like a pit. It was a rectangular in dimensions. Not too big. Like maybe 10 by 7 or something like that. Had something on the peripheral, and then like a pit down below. And on the top, on the peripheral, it's like a ledge that went all around. And they're little animals. They were, I think, little baby dogs. They're cute. Everything was cute, looked very cutesy. a lot of different type of paraphernalia, I remember. And I remember at one point I said, "Oh, look at this," you know. And I remember I was petting, I think I was petting it. One of a tiny, 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 tiny little animal. I think they were dogs. I think one of them slipped down below. It was something that happened. And I know someone was talking to me. I remember that it's something that slid down. And then I remember this white lady, young white woman. She was to my right. She was on the next boot, like that open pit type of thing. There was one next to us, to the right. And she had like it was some type of book, but it was encased in like a box. So this was like a heavy duty. I was thinking she's a college girl. She white, look like a white American. Um, Late 20s, maybe mid to late 20s. Medium build, just what you call an average girl. And it was in a dark box. It was like a coffee table size book. And it was encased in it was a dark color. And it was a nice box. Now, it was a box made for it, so it was like a specialty book. It was, but my impression when I saw her, oh, that must be a college book. And then I was remembering my college days. And I remember I had just bought these college textbooks, and it got wet. They had dropped my bag. I had a backpack, a big heavy-duty backpack, and it had fallen. They had it. They had, for a reason. They had really. They took up my bag. Like you get a ticket to put in your bag, so you can go shopping in the bookstore. And so, for whatever reason, they shifted it to put it in another location, and it fell, and the glass inside broke, and all my books got ruined. I just bought them. They said, "Well, you shouldn't have had glass in it." I said, "Well, you shouldn't have moved my bag and dropped it." I was furious. So it kind of reminded me that, okay, made me think that that was a college book of hers. And the book fell in that ditch, that thing in the middle where I was standing. It slid in. Yeah. And I remember like there was, there's water on the bottom. And I remember the sides. I remember that there's like mud, like soil, dirt or something on the sides. And she had to climb down and reach down and pick up the book. I remember she had it with her fingers, but it was a big thing actually, big book, look big and heavy. And the outer, the box that the book contained in was all wet, and she was getting it, and I'm thinking about my college days with this. Yeah, it just like little, yeah, it just had it's like little cutesy things, and you go and engage in it, and the little animals, and you pet them. That I remember. I don't remember anything more, but there was people surrounding it. They weren't tall, but I remember that there was international feel to it. So she was a white American young woman. Um, she she never said anything either, but it's just busy. The sensory was very alive. It was calm, but festive. Uh, I remember there's another thing, another part of the dream. Um, and I know there's international. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, actually, that was towards the end of the dream. Yeah, I was in another section of this shopping center or mall, whatever we call it. And everything, like little businesses, not like big major business, just like people, arts and crafts type of thing. And yeah, this is one of the first part at the shopping mall. Excuse me. I remember there was incense. Um, in the center, in the center of the shopping experience. I remember walking by the place, inside, but it just had an outdoorsy feel. Yeah, the whole shopping thing, it was inside, but it just had an outside feel to it. And I remember there was a lady. There was a bunch of people, and she looked familiar. She was a black lady, black American. And I think she looked like the same, um, a lady that I recently saw on a channel. She had a near death experience. She was what we call a light skinned black lady. Not sure how old she is. She could also be in her 60s. And in real life, this lady had a near death experience as she was explaining. She was a guest on someone's show, and I was curious about it. I said, wow, she seems very articulate. Hey, and this happened when she was a teenager. She was going to school, I think. Yeah, oh, no, she's on a class trip. Yeah, she's from the East Coast in America, and her parents said she could go on some class trip, and there was going to be a chaperone. She's on a bus, and she did something in real life. She'd taken these pills to help her stay awake, but for whatever reason, she took handfuls, and it was an overdose. But she makes it. She had a OBE. She had her adventure, and then she woke up from the OBE. She came back to life. And I was curious about her. I said, wow. I felt like, wow, I bet she's interviewed somewhere else. I typed in her name to find out if she had any content out there or she was a guest on anybody else's show. Turns out she has her own channel, spirituality type of thing and politics. And yeah, very interesting. I did subscribe to her. And yeah, so it kind of looked like her. She just had a familiar look. I know I've seen her before. She had a narrow face, and she was a light skin, like a yellowish tan color. And she seemed nice. She's a nice lady. And she is selling little knickknacks and incense. And I remember she had, it's like on a metal, it's an incense holder made, I guess, out of brass or something, and it's had a long chain. And she put it in front of my face to smell the senses. I remember the first whiff I got of it. It was nice. It was a sweet aroma, a sweetness, and I think that was cinnamon. It was a warm smell. It was nice. And I said, "Oh, what's that?" And we started talking. And she told me to follow her. She had like a little supply room where she kept her supplies. And I remember I was in it and looking around, and I was wondering. I remember in my mind I was thinking, oh, I really like the incense. What was the first one I was smelling? Things like that. I was trying to decide which one I wanted. 'Cause I did like it, and, I didn't know the name, what it was, and there was some distraction because I know I did follow her, and I was looking at her supplies, and somehow there was some distraction or something. Then I was somewhere else in everything. Um, yeah, I think that was actually the first part of the dream. Yeah, the incense and those people, yeah, they were Americans. They were Americans abroad, you know. And so, and I remember there was a Black American, a man. Um, they weren't big. When I'm remembering, people was smaller than me, in height. And it was positive, and it had an international feel. I felt that. And there were a lot of Black Americans, and they're shopping or working there. They seemed okay. They seemed content, and they were, um, assimilating. Just being in harmony with their environment. It seemed positive, very festive, arts and crafty type, cozy feel. The whole inside the mall seemed very cozy and inviting. Yeah, and then I think after that, that's when I had that I was in the hotel room, and then from the hotel room that I told you about with the Asian girl, then something with the pool, and then people that reminded me of other people, like the Oprah, the pool scene. Um, then I remember we were returning back, and I think it's with the Asian girl, and I'm following her. I'm pretty much in a following mood. Just following my way back. I think we headed back to the hotel. Um, Now that I think about it, it seems familiar. Something about the elevator, and then it dawned on me. Yeah, okay. It dawned on me. There was, I didn't remember what room I was in. It's so typical of my dreams, so typical. Yeah, I was following the lady, and then I think we got separated. And in my mind, I'm thinking, so typical of my dreams. I said, hey, I want to go back in my room, but I forgot to ask what room number I'm in. How am I going to get back to my room? And I said, I'm thinking the back of my mind. I'm thinking, hey, I can go to the receptionist desk. Yeah, because I think I said to myself, yeah, I just passed the receptionist area. I should go back there and ask them and give her my name and remind her, and ask her, hey, what's my room number? Yeah, I remember being in the elevator, and I said, I don't know what floor to get off on. I better find out. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I remember. It was all mixed up, the dream, all mixed up. And it was a lot of familiarity in the dream. The girl, um, the fact that I'm in an elevator. Yeah, it was supposed to be a very high rise apartment complex. And I think it had shops in the high rise. It had just an international feel. It was Asia, but people from different parts of the world, and surprisingly, a lot of Black Americans were there. I never had a dream like that. So many Americans and Black Americans at that. And they're all like there. They seem to be enjoying themselves. It was very busy, but not um, like there's an expression I learned in the military. It's called a clusterfuck. Yeah, you heard right. So it was, but it wasn't a clusterfuck. It was busy. It had people, but It had a calmness, but the sensory of the number of stores was so busy, so detailed. Yeah, everything was detailed, and everything seemed to remind me of something else. Like the lady, the I guess she was my roommate or something. We were in the same room, and it was cozy room. I was just sitting on the bed, and this man, as I told you earlier, the man just walks in the room. He was a tiny frame guy. Again, I forget what his ethnicity was. You know, I don't remember. But yeah, but nothing bad happened to us. But we were embarrassed. And the sense of privacy was taken away. Yeah, because I was topless. I was like getting cozy. I think I was taking my clothes off or my shirt off, getting comfortable. And he comes in and just walks in, and then he walks out. And my roommate had come in as he was still in the room, and she was offended. Yeah, she looked very familiar. That's all I could say. She looked very, very familiar, the woman. And yeah, I think I was following her, and then I was with some other people, something with the pool and navigating across the pool, the water. Yeah, it seems like a water theme in this dream. Something about the pool, and then where the little puppies were. There was a pit below on the base of this, um, where the animals were. Oh, they had mud on the side, and then the water down below. And this lady had to pick up a book that slid down the wall of this thing where the little animals were on top. Yeah, there was something with other animals. Something with the other animals. I'm trying to remember. Was my dog in it? I'm not sure if one of my dogs was in it. I wonder if Lily was in it. Not Lavender, but I think there was another little dog that looked familiar. That was a little bigger than the dogs that I saw in the mall. Um, yeah, it's a weird setup. Never saw a setup like that. Yeah, a lot of times with my dreams, there's a conglomeration of things and themes. Somehow they're all meshing together. So I had like a rectangular shape, peripheral. I had a ledge with the cute little animals and decorative things on top of the ledge, and then down below there was something that was deep, and it actually had water in it. And lady dropped a book. Looked like it was an expensive book, boy. Looked like a textbook, really big. But that's what I was thinking. It must be a textbook, college textbooks. Yeah, that was my dream. It was very international, and I felt fully engaged in it. The common theme was I don't know where my room is. I always seem to forget where my room is and how to get back. Yeah, so people, if you have an idea what this dream means and why I keep getting in my dreams, where is my room, how to get back? Yeah, I used to have a similar theme about the military, dreamed of being in the military again. I used to live on the ship in the Navy, and I either had to run to the dressing room to take a shower or to go in my locker to get my things. Always lost, always have to race to this place to try to find it. When I find it, I get my locker, but then I can't open my locker, or I don't remember the password, and it's always like that. So that's what was similar in this one. I didn't remember where my room was. And I said I should have asked her what room this is so I could get back. Yeah. So that was the dream. And again, the theme seemed, it was very international feel. It had Black Americans. It was pleasant. It was pleasant. People relaxing, people doing commerce. And yeah, yeah. No food. No, I didn't have any food in the dream. I don't think so. And I really liked the aroma of the incense. And I didn't get to buy anything. It almost felt like it was something that was really happening. And I feel like it's like it's something ongoing. But since I awoke, you're here. But I feel it's something that is continually going on, in my opinion. Um, oh, I think was there a lion? Oh, God, I'm sorry to talk like that. There, yeah, oh, wow. Yes. Yes, it was. It was, yes. Remember not, yes. In the same facility, shopping mall, oh, very cozy feel. There was an animal, and I believe it was a wild cat, and something like you put your hand on the, like we're sitting on the floor, you put your, like you tap on the bottom of the floor, and the thing would crawl. It was on all four, like, but crouched down low. It was a wild animal. It was a cat, some type of wild cat. And I remember it was going back and forth, and it didn't attack anyone, but it was pretending it wanted to attack people. And I'm engaged with this thing. It's going back and forth, crouch low, but also had like a stuffed doll type, stuffed animal type thing. Yeah, it wasn't real. It sort of looked real, but then you could see that it's made out of cloth or something. But it was acting like it was on, being a prey, being a predator. And they was doing this to the people, crouching down low. Yeah, I remember that now. So that was the dream. Very, very busy. Very engaging with different types of people. Oh, I had a water theme to it. There was an animal theme to it. Um, some of the vendors looked very familiar. Um, and I remember that they were shorter than me. Yeah. And it looked like it was set in some type of East Asian environment. It was pleasant. It was very soft spoken, gentle spirited, but yet still busy. I think the lights were dim, dim lighting. It was cozy, nice feel. And that was my dream. I just felt the need to share, and it just seems so international. It felt real, very busy. And I wonder what the dream means, people. I did 2 days ago come back I went on my first safari, people. Oh, I should upload some of the little I took little baby videos. And so I might, yeah, I'll probably just put different ones like shorts and just upload them all. So it's up on my channel so people can enjoy it. Yeah, I went on my first safari. I was just with the driver and myself. It was very, very positive. what I would say, it was a little bit too long. I mean, I had a fantastic driver. He was an excellent driver, excellent in conversation, and it was a positive experience. But I think at one point it was getting too long. Yeah, we were driving from about 3:30 in the morning to about, yeah, we got back home around, I think it was 4 o'clock. 4, about 4 o'clock it could have been, or 4:30. Yeah, so we were driving for like 12 hours, 12, 13 hours. Yeah, and by that time I was extremely, extremely worn out and tired. And I kind of started to feel a little, in the car coming back to the hotel. The ride got extremely, extremely bumpy. And I had my water with me that had a little honey and a pinch of salt in it. And kept on drinking it because I thought maybe I was getting dehydrated or I needed some sugar, something. I wasn't feeling good. I was being overstimulated. Yeah, it was too much. These days, I can't take too much physical stimuli, the bumping and, rough ride or intensities. I'm very mellow now. Yeah, I don't like a lot of stimuli. It gets too much. And my body absorbs all that energy and it's just too much. And it could, I think, raise your cortisol. And from there, it's like a stress response. So I think that's what was happening towards the end of the ride. But overall, it was very, very positive. But I guess, as you get older, you don't require much, and keep it short. Keep it short and sweet. Get back to your home. Get a nice meal. Yeah. So that's what happened, people, and that was my dream, and that was my experience. Also in adding about the safari that I went on. Yeah. So, people, thank you for listening. Let me know your feedback regarding the dream that I had. And I'm going to keep my eyes open. Maybe I could consider visiting Asia. Yeah. So, let me know, people. Thank you again for this opportunity to share with you my dream that I had and what it could mean. So, this is Spirit Journey signing off. Bye bye.